Our next presenter, Ann Holey, is from the Longmont Museum. How many of you are familiar with Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos? All these paintings you see around here? Well, in the Hispanic community, we don't really take death as something bad. It's like we're just moving to another level. So like I tell my wife, I'll be back. But Anne is the curator of education at the Longmont Museum and the Day of the Dead project manager. She has a background in studio art, experimental architecture, and alternative education. She lives in Longmont and is proud to contribute to the cultural enrichment of our community. Which means, why do we live here? It's a great place to live. She has been with the museum since January of 2013. She's thrilled to be here tonight to tell us about the Day of the Dead exhibit and the celebration of the Longmont Museum. So, although she may not say it, I will say it now. These are things you really have to take advantage of, because these are some of the great cultural events, and these are some of the things that we really need to see why Longmont is what it is. A fabulous, great, fantastic, culturally mecca of the world. I now give you Ann Holey. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Oh, wait, you already went to 2. Okay, good. Thank you. I was going to make you all raise your hands and tell me who knew what Day of the Dead was, but since Greg already did it for me, I have kind of a good idea. So it's sort of mixed. Longmont is actually really lucky to be a part of Colorado that has the largest Day of the Dead celebration in the entire state. That first slide you saw there was a little bit about the history of Day of the Dead. It comes from Aztec and Mayan traditions. Way back when they used to celebrate their dead for an entire month in the middle of the summer. It was a huge party. It was all month long. It was just welcoming back your dead and loving them and missing them. Eventually, the Spaniards came and conquered Mexico. Catholicism became the dominant religion, and Day of the Dead, sort of those traditions of celebrating your deceased loved ones and friends, merged with Catholic All Saints and All Souls Day and became Day of the Dead. So Day of the Dead starts on October 31st in Mexico and all over Central America and parts of the U.S. as well, and actually other places in the world. People go to cemeteries, they clean the graves of their loved ones, they decorate them with flowers, with incense, with candles. This is actually an image from our exhibit at the museum right now. We tried to replicate a cemetery as it might appear on the night of October 31st. So again, it would be you'd clean your graves, you would decorate them with flowers, with candles, with foods that person might have loved, with their image. And it's a huge party. It's like an all-night party. People come, there are musicians wandering around the cemetery, and that's to welcome people back. It's supposed to be that the gates of heaven open up and spirits come back to the community to join you. So that happens in the graveyard. The other part of Day of the Dead happens at home. At home, you'll see ofrendas, which is Spanish for altar. And the altar will be in your home like this. It'll be tiers, layers. On that altar, you'll see a lot of similar things that you would see at the gravesite. You'll see images, you'll see food, you'll see the traditional foods for Day of the Dead are tamales, chicken mole, rice and beans, and pan de muerto. But you'll also include foods that person might have really enjoyed, like maybe some kind of candy or alcohol or a special drink that person enjoyed. You'll see sugar skulls. You see lots of these little sugar skulls here and there. You will see marigolds, you will see butterflies, you will see lots of those pictures of that person. Skeletons are a big part of Day of the Dead, but as opposed to Halloween, where skeletons are maybe kind of scary, on Day of the Dead, skeletons tend to be joyful and happy and celebratory, sort of like the Katrinas you see on the walls in here. They're a joyful kind of symbol. So at the Longmont Museum right now, every year, we've been celebrating Day of the Dead at the museum for about 13 years. This image is actually from Stephanie Hilvet's altar. She's here somewhere. At our exhibit, you'll see half of our exhibit is always altars. It's altars built by community members. People start applying in August. We take applications. Anybody's welcome to come and do one. Some people might honor a family member or a friend or a couple of family members and friends. Some people might choose to honor someone they don't know. Like right now we have an altar to Dr. Seuss that was put together by a teacher who does after-school programs in St. Vrain Valley. And she had all of her students help contribute to this particular altar. So we have a lot of variety. Some of our altars are built actually by school groups. So we have a high school group that built an altar. We have those kids who did the Dr. Seuss altar. We also have an altar built by by the community college, Front Range Community College students. And those are really fun because you see lots of different images and a whole group of people's items together. This image actually is from one of the artists who works at 201 Tattoo on Main Street. We asked the artists who work at that shop to create big 4x8 paintings for the exhibit, and actually only one of those artists is from a Latino background, so the rest of them, it was kind of a new experience. So those are actually really fun. They're part of the exhibit as well. Maybe some of you know Jose Posada. Posada was a really famous Mexican artist who was not so famous before he died, but after he died, kind of came to recognition in Mexico for being kind of a quintessential artist who represented that dancing skeleton figure for Day of the Dead. So we have these two huge 8-foot-tall dancing skeletons out in front of the museum that are replicas of Jose Posada. This is Our Lady Katrina. Every year we have a big Day of the Dead celebration. Last year, 1,700 people came. We have a Lady Katrina. She's there passing out lollipops to kids and adults. We have performers all day long. We have face painting. We have sugar skull decorating. We have crafts for kids and adults. We have the exhibit, of course, open. It's a huge celebration. It really is the biggest celebration in the state. So people come from all over to come and see it, and I hope that everybody here will come. It is November 2nd. It's free for everybody. This year we have a whole bunch of other, these are some of the dancers, by the way. This year we have a whole bunch of other programs going on. We just had an artist talk this week by Lori Beth, who helped with the cemetery exhibit. Next week, Sunday is Volunteer Sugar Skull Making Day. So if you want to learn how to make sugar skulls, come on Sunday between 1 and 4. It's free. We just need your help to make 1,400 sugar skulls. They'll all be decorated on November 2nd. Next week we have a panel discussion that is going to feature folks who've been involved with altar building at the museum over the years who are from non-Latino backgrounds. So they're going to be talking about, which looks like a lot of my audience here. So they're going to be talking about how Day of the Dead has kind of impacted their beliefs and their practices as artists, as individuals, what it means to them. That'll be kind of fun. During the big celebration, we of course have face painters. They'll paint your face like a skeleton or something else if you want. There's the sugar skulls again. Come on Sunday, we need your help. What else do we have? We've got, this year the most exciting part is how much Day of the Dead is spreading throughout Longmont, something that we're really proud of. It kind of started at the museum, but this year it's really spread downtown. It's here at the firehouse, it's at Muse Gallery, it's at Rabid Rabbits, it's at businesses all over the place, and I'm really proud that Longmont is such a cultural centerpiece and is so welcoming and sharing and good. Thank you.
Just so you know, Longmont in the entire state of Colorado has the largest celebration of Dia de los Muertos. So there's another feather in our hat. Thank you. Actually, this whole thing of, where you cherish, remember, and honor your dead is really good. I just wish my wife would quit trying to put my picture up on her altar.